In July 1941, at Fort Benning, Georgia, the U.S. Army began experimenting with an entirely new concept: airborne infantry. By July 1942, the 502nd Parachute Infantry Regiment was activated under the command of Colonel George V. Miley. These men, volunteers all, were trained to parachute behind enemy lines and strike deep in hostile territory. The regiment would soon be assigned to the 101st Airborne Division, commanded by Major General William C. Lee and later Maxwell Taylor. The Five Oh Duce trained hard, enduring punishing jumps, long marches, and tactical drills. They knew their mission would be high risk. They would often be outnumbered, cut off, and forced to hold positions until reinforcements arrived. By 1943, the regiment sailed to England, preparing for their baptism of fire. On the night of June 6, 1944, the regiment took part in Operation Overlord. Under heavy anti-aircraft fire, the 502nd parachuted into Normandy. The drops were scattered, with paratroopers landing miles apart. Yet, under leaders like Colonel Patrick Cassidy and Lieutenant Colonel Robert Cole, the men regrouped. The 502nd secured roadways leading off Utah Beach, captured bridges, and engaged German forces in fierce firefights. One of the regiment's most heroic actions came at Carentan, where Lieutenant Colonel Cole led a bayonet charge that earned him the Medal of Honor, though he was later killed in action. The regiment suffered over 1,100 casualties in Normandy, nearly a third of its strength, but its success was critical to the Allied foothold in France. In September 1944, the 502nd jumped again, this time into the Netherlands for Operation Market Garden. Their mission was to secure bridges and towns around Eindhoven. Facing counterattacks from German armor and paratroopers, the regiment held its ground for 10 days along what became known as Hell's Highway. The cost was high, over 750 men lost in Holland. But their stand kept the vital corridor open, allowing British armor to push deeper into German-occupied territory, even though the overall operation fell short of its ultimate goal. In December 1944, Hitler launched his final gamble, the Ardennes Offensive. The 502nd was rushed into position around Bastogne, Belgium, where they dug in against overwhelming German forces. Cut off, short on food, medicine, and ammunition, the regiment held its lines through freezing snow and relentless artillery. It was during this siege that General Anthony McAuliffe, acting commander of the 101st, issued his famous reply of "nuts" to a German surrender demand. Among the defenders making that stand was the 502nd, who bore the brunt of repeated German assaults. The regiment suffered over 580 casualties at Bastogne, but their defiance helped turn the tide of the Battle of the Bulge. By war's end in May 1945, the 502nd PIR had fought across Normandy, Holland, Belgium, and into Germany itself. The regiment paid a heavy price, nearly 1,500 men killed in action and thousands more wounded or missing across its campaigns. But their courage did not go unrecognized. The Five Oh Duce earned 2 presidential unit citations, the French Croix de Guerre, the Belgian Fourragère, and the lasting respect of the Allied nations they helped liberate. From D-Day to Bastogne, the 502nd Parachute Infantry Regiment forged a legacy of endurance, sacrifice, and victory. They were among the first to jump, and they remained, to the very end, among the finest.